Hi everyone, welcome back to my channel. This is Tasha and I am back with a new video. I think it has been 5 months since my last video, but I already gave you the disclaimer that don't have any expectations, don't have any Tasha from this Tasha. I am very irregular with this channel and I'm probably going to be like this only, but I would try to keep this channel alive and I would try to keep uploading videos as and when possible. My work schedule is very hectic, so it's not possible for me to have a regular schedule, but I'm trying to fit in a little bit as much as possible. And honestly, I've not read also that much to create a lot of videos on books. But what is the other option if I've not read a lot of books? It's to buy them. So I have bought a ton of books recently. I've just ordered 10 new books 30 minutes back, which will be coming in the next 2 to 3 days. I would try to do another haul with them. These books are not bought all together, by the way. These are bought in the last one and a half months kind of thing, and I thought it would be a good place to make this video. And there are a lot of genres that are combined here. I have a lot of non-fiction, a little bit of horror is also here. None of these books that I've bought in the past 1.5 months are finished, so you can understand my reading slump is going very deep right now, and yet I am just buying new books because there was a sale. Don't put this on me. I'll try to be as concise as possible about each book because I think there are 12 here and I don't want this to be another 20-minute video like the last one. I apologize for my yapping. I'm just a professional yapper here. Let's get started. So the first book that I bought was Whispering Shadows by Deepta Roy Chakravorty. This is a book which is filled with horror stories, and I made a mistake with this one. So I thought it has like random horror stories, 5 or 6, and I have actually read 2 of them in no particular order, and I really enjoyed them because you didn't need any context in order to read the book as such. But then I came to know that these stories are actually interconnected with each other, because I saw that one of the characters from the 5th story is introduced in the 2nd story. So I will read the book again from the starting. I think I have read the first one and I've read the 6th one. There are 7 stories in it. The writing is pretty good. It's very simple to understand, and there is also like a eerie vibe that is going on, but it's not very scary. Like, I feel horror stories are the best written in Bengali. Like, I have never been as scared by any English horror story as I am by the Bengali ones that I have read. But still, this is a pretty good book, and it's easy to dip through. So if you are traveling somewhere, if you're going by car, or if you have a small vacation, I think this can be a really good book to dip in once a while. What is the best genre to go from horror? It's romance, right? So the next book that I had bought was The Spanish Love Deception by Elena Armas. I had read this book for the first time in 2021 probably, and since then I've read this book 4 times. This man right here, Aaron Blackford, he is the perfect book boyfriend out there. Like how unrealistic men can be, that is what Elena Armas has written in this book. It's pretty thick. It actually has 470 pages, but somehow I just fly through the book whenever I read it. But let me be honest with you, this book is like pretty cringe. As much as I love this book and as many times as I have read it, there is no such emotional depth in it, and even the plot is pretty stupid because it says it is workplace enemies to lovers, but there is no hate or there is no enemy like behavior between them. From the very first chapter, Aaron is pretty much obsessed with Lena in this book. Just Lena seems oblivious to it. So the plot of this book is basically Aaron and Lena work in this company together. Lena has to go to her sister's wedding, and her sister is getting married to Lena's ex's brother. So her ex is going to be there, and her ex is also probably engaged, so she needs to be there with a +1. She needs a partner to be at this wedding. She can't go alone because it's just the biggest shame for some reason that a woman is going alone to at a place after the age of 25 or 26. So Aaron, as the gentleman that he is, he suggests Lena that he will accompany her to this wedding, and he does, and as you all know, eventually they fall in love and all of these things. I don't think that needed 460 pages of a book, but Elena Armas thought it was a good idea, and I've already been blabbering about Aaron for 2 minutes. He's just so perfect. The next book was in my cart for almost 2 years. I have been reading this writer's little excerpts and lines here and there all the time, and they have touched my heart so deeply. But I was always scared to read her book or her writing in depth because I know it is a lot about grief, and I did not know if I'm really at a place of life where I can really read about grief, which is non-fiction, not even a fictional story. And that is The Year of Magical Thinking by Joan Didion. Joan Didion is one of the most famous American writers, and she is the favorite writer of so many people I know. And this book is about her dealing with her only daughter and her husband's death that happened like within a span of a few weeks and a month. It was a prolonged illness, and then just before New Year's time she lost two of the closest people of her life. And if I explain this book in Joan Didion's own words, it was weeks and then months that cut loose any fixed idea I ever had about death, about illness, about marriage and children and memory, about the shallowness of sanity, and about life itself. The first time I remember I read this part, I was like, I am not in a place to read this book. One of the quotes from this book that I had read 2 years ago on my way to Digha, I was going to see the beach for the very first time, and that is when I had read this quote. And that is probably the first time I came across this book, and I literally had tears in my eyes. The quote was, I could not count the times during the average day when something would come up that I needed to tell him. This impulse did not end with his death. What ended was the possibility of response. And since then, I've been eyeing this book. There is also a new book of Joan Didion probably that is coming out this month, 9th May. And I think I'm going to buy that as well, because that would be a better place to get started than The Year of Magical Thinking that I'm still a little scared to read. The next book that I bought is a classic. Now, there are many classics on my shelf, but I am not really a classic reader. I've hardly finished 2 or 3 classics in the last 5 years. This author I particularly loved the last time I read her, which is why I picked up a new one, and it is The Secret Garden by Frances Hodgson Burnett. I had read Little Princess by her, which is till date one of the best books out there. It is so cozy, heartfelt, and such a warm and loving story. Although this is actually like a children's book, but I was a weird kid. I was into encyclopedias as a kid, and I didn't read these things. So better late than never. This book is actually about this girl named Mary, who is like a grumpy, spoiled child, and her parents have recently passed away, and she has come to England to live with her uncle, and over there she discovers this secret door which leads to this secret garden. It is about like plants and secrets, and there are a lot of cozy vibes. Honestly, I don't know more than that about this story, and whoever has loved A Little Princess has loved The Secret Garden, so hopefully I can join that team as well. The next book that I bought is actually a series that I just started reading. So I bought the first 2 books in the series because I have too much faith in myself and the author that I'm going to like it and I'm going to continue, and that is the Natural series by Jennifer Lynn Barnes. I have the first 2 books. It's The Naturals and The Killer Instinct. Last year I read the series The Invisible Games by Jennifer Lynn Barnes. It's this series right here, and this is by far like probably my favorite YA series. I like it more than The Good Girl's Guide to Murder. I read the 3 books in a week. It was that good and that fast paced, and her writing was simple to read but also very gripping. Like you would not be able to leave the book or leave the series actually until you finish it. And from there, I had heard most people say that The Naturals is actually even better than Inheritance Games. So I couldn't believe it because Inheritance Games was already perfection for me. So I am going into the series with a lot of high hopes. I hope it doesn't disappoint. So this series is about a group of 5 teenagers who have some unnatural gifts, and the FBI has hired them or like collaborated with them to solve unsolved mysteries or like cold cases from years ago. And the main character that I have been so far introduced, because I've just read a few chapters of the first book, is Casey. Casey has lost her mother in some kind of tragic accident or murder or something like that. Casey has this unusual talent of reading people. She can see a person and she can deduct a lot of things about it. It's sort of, like how in Feluda, whenever there would be a client coming to their home, Feluda would ask Topshe, did you notice this? Did you notice that? That person is coming from this place, they have this job, and all of these things. Casey sort of has that talent. And apart from it, there is also another character who is very good at reading emotions and also like getting under people's skin and manipulating their emotions. If I was in their team, I would have the talent of stalking people. And as far as I know, that every book is about one case, and then all the 4 books, so there are 4 books in the series, and there is one story that is connected through all of the books, which is sort of a very common theme in these kinds of series or books, and I'm really looking forward to reading it. The next book that I bought might have been a little bit of a mistake, I don't know. I actually came across this book on Twitter by one of my favorite freelancers, and they had recommended this book as one of their favorite books of all time, and which is why I didn't think much. I immediately added it to my cart. It is called Zen and the Art of Motorcycle Maintenance. I honestly thought this book is about, how to live life and a non-fiction book sort of a thing, and that is what was given in her description. But then I started reading this book and I realized it's like a conversation between a father and his son. And then I went back to Goodreads, which I should have done before buying it, and I realized it is about how to live life and everything, but it is told from the perspective of a father and son conversation who are doing these motorcycle trips throughout different parts of Europe or America or something. And I did not like the writing. I have read 10 pages through these books and I am done. And then I came to know that this is a classic, and my relationships with classics over the years have not been good, so I don't know if I can really finish this book or if I'm ever going to pick it up again. But yeah, it looks pretty, it's very creative and everything, but I should research more before buying books, which I used to do, but for this one I just went ahead with someone's recommendation and it didn't go well for me. The next book that I bought was Heartburn by Nora Ephron. Nora Ephron is again one of my favorite writers. She was a columnist for the New York Post and the New York Magazine, and I had read some of her pieces over the last year, and that's when I decided to buy one of her books, which is this green one right here. It's The Most of Nora Ephron. It's a non-fiction book which is a collection of many of her such essays, and I've read quite a lot of them. She writes in a very fun voice, and like whenever you read through her writings, you will feel like you are directly talking to someone, and very relatable topics, by the way. Like as a woman, I really connect with her, and which is why I decided to pick up a fiction book by her. And this is about like breaking off a perfect marriage kind of thing, where a woman finds out that her husband is cheating on her while she is pregnant actually, and she is sort of stuck in the middle. At one end she wants to get back her husband, and on the other end she wishes that he was dead. And also she is like the woman herself is a cookbook writer, so this is written from a very comedic point of view, by the way. It's not really a deep emotional kind of book, it's just a fun writing. And if you check the cover, by the way, I don't know if you can see, it says brain here, and here in between the thighs it says good for running away from responsibilities, and here at the place of heart it says easily given away. In case you didn't know, Nora Ephron is the screenwriter of the famous romance movie When Harry Met Sally. This is a book that I'm planning to finish this year, because this is, as you can see, it's a pretty thin book, and also the plot seems very fun to read. The next book that I bought was not available on Amazon for almost 4 months. Like I remember it was in my cart, but I was not able to get the book, and when I finally got it, it was not the cover that I wanted, but Nai Mama Chikana Mama Bhalo. This book is basically about this woman, Phoebe Stone, who is dumped by her husband. She has lost the charm of her job. She has also been through a lot of miscarriages, so she is like at that point of life where she wants to say F it all, and she always wanted to go to Rhode Island to this particular inn which is very luxurious, but she never did it. We always keep waiting for this one moment of life when we will do it. Like all the stickers we collected in our childhood thinking someday we will use it somewhere special, but we never do. So that is sort of how Phoebe's life is going on. So she went to that expensive inn only to find out that everyone present in that inn during that time is actually for a wedding, and she's almost like crashing a wedding weekend, but she somehow gets included into all of that drama. The bride also is like going through her own crisis, and that is what the story is about. Most people who talk about this book often say that you just have to go inside it to understand what happens. So I'm very excited to read this book. I don't know, I have a feeling it will be sort of like Emily Henry books, and I am an Emily Henry stan. Like I would read Emily Henry's grocery list if she writes it for me. So I'm pretty excited to read this book, hopefully sometime this year, and it doesn't sit and collects dust like many of my books on this shelf. We are down to the last 3 books finally. This one I bought just last week, by the way, which is The Lonely City by Olivia Lang. This book had been recommended to me by one of my favorite YouTubers. The theme of this book was very interesting to me, something that really spoke to my soul, especially because this is a non-fiction memoir book where the writer Olivia Lang, she moves to this new city in her mid-30s, and she's now experiencing what it truly means to be lonely at a new place. How do you start your life again? How do you navigate loneliness, and how does a woman deals with it? And I consider myself sort of like a loner. I won't say there are no people in my life. Of course, I have some good friends that I talk to, but in general, I like to be in my own space. I don't like to go outside, or I don't like to go into crowds that much. And I'm also like, I'm an only child, so I have been, I don't want to say lonely, but so I have been in solitude for most parts of my life, and I have quite enjoyed it, to be honest. So I really wanted to know more about, loneliness and how it feels, especially in mid-30s, that I would be approaching in 10 years or so. So how does it feels like that to be a woman? I hope I'm not lonely by the time I'm 35, fingers crossed. But yeah, it's good to know her perspective. I have started reading Jhumpa Lahiri's Whereabouts, by the way, which is, I don't know, I have a feeling that that book would be very similar to this one, because that book is also about this woman who is living through the city, who's a lonely woman navigating through her life. And I love that book. Like, I read 2 or 3 chapters every single day, and I underline so many pages there because it just speaks to my soul, I feel, and that hopefully would be the same thing with this book. The next book is also a non-fiction. It is Notes on Heartbreak by Annie Lord. This book is basically a non-fiction memoir book where Annie Lord is reminiscing her 5-year relationship, which of course ended in a breakup, and she's talking about the inside jokes, the memories, and the usual feelings that every single person on this planet goes through when they are going through a breakup. And I think that's the best part about this book, that it somehow unifies that grief that so many people go through, and everyone feels like, okay, nobody feels the pain like I do, or nobody can understand what I'm going through. But the truth is, most people do, and most people have the shared experience of going through a heartbreak. I have not read this book completely, but I have seen some lines and some excerpts here and there, and they have really spoken to me. And this is like a favorite book of so many women, because they say that this book almost became about themselves. It was no more about Annie Lord. This book was more about them and their own life, because it was so relatable to them. And this book just talks about both the joy and the pain of being in love, like basically the price you pay because you were in love. And I'm not going through a heartbreak, by the way, but I don't know, I just felt this is a good time to pick this book up and to have some lessons in hand before I go through one sometime. And finally, the last book of this haul is Just for the Summer by Abby Jimenez. On my last video, I mentioned Abby Jimenez, that she was one of my favorite authors when I first started reading romance. In 2020, I read her book, A Happy Ever After Playlist, which is somewhere here. The book is there. Oh, it's behind this stack. And I absolutely loved the book. So Just for the Summer is the story of Justin and Emma. Justin is this guy who made a post on Reddit which is about his dating experience. Basically, whenever Justin dates someone and he breaks up with them, the next person this girl dates turns out to be her soulmate. It has happened quite a few times to be a coincidence, and through this Reddit post, Justin comes to know that there is another girl named Emma who has the exact same experience with men. The moment she breaks up with a man, that man goes to find a soulmate. So they realize that maybe both of them are somehow cursed in this life, and the best way to cancel out this curse is to date each other, because the moment they will date each other and they break up, the next person they both are going to meet is going to be their soulmate. But because this is a rom-com, as it turns out, they start dating, and of course they will fall in love, and I'm sure this is going to be a happy ending. Abby Jimenez books are usually happy ending, and I'm really looking forward to reading this book, because I think I've read quite a few of different romances over the last few years, and it's time to get back Abby Jimenez on my shelf. So I'm really looking forward, and this plot is also very interesting. So yeah, this is the last book of this haul, and I am freaking tired. I hope you liked this video. If you do, don't forget to subscribe to the channel, give a thumbs up, and please put down a comment below. It really helps the algorithm. I hope that even with this tumultuous schedule, I get to 1000 subscribers sometime this year. I'll see you on the next video. Until then, bye bye.